We tell stories of human. Way, not with artificial voices or AI slop. In the end, what's HFI without? Humanity? Subscribe to keep it this way. My name is Amir Sohal. Let's begin. The stars above Earth twinkled quietly, as if they were watching silently. In the cold, endless space, a fleet of alien ships moved like dark shadows. They were the Varkans, a powerful empire known across the galaxy. Their ships were huge, black, and menacing. Nothing could stop them, or so they thought. Far below on Earth, humans were busy with their daily lives. Cities were alive with light and sound. People laughed, argued, and dreamed. They had no idea that eyes from deep space were watching them. The Varkans looked at Earth and smiled. Weaklings, they said. Their technology is primitive. Their army is nothing. They are easy to destroy. The Varkans were wrong. Very wrong. Deep inside a hidden facility on Earth, a group of scientists worked feverishly. Their leader, Dr. Maya Roberts, stood in front of a large screen. She was calm but focused. Around her, monitors blinked with strange readings. They had created something no one could understand at first. Humans called it the strangest weapon ever seen. It was small, a single ship, no bigger than a football field. But inside, it carried something far more dangerous than missiles or lasers. It carried the power of human memory, human history, and human survival. As the alien fleet approached Earth, the Varkans laughed at the tiny human ship. "Is this a joke?" their commander sneered. "Do they think this little thing can stop us?" But the humans were ready. The ship lifted silently from its hidden dock. It had no loud engines, no flashing lights. Just a smooth, calm hum. The Varkans fired first. Laser beams tore across space. Explosions erupted. Their ships were armed with destruction unlike anything humans had ever imagined. But the human ship did not fire back. It did not even move. It stayed still, calm, as if it knew something the Varkans did not. Suddenly, a strange wave spread from the human ship. It was not light. It was not sound. It was something else. A strange energy that the Varkans could not see. Their ships shook. Their systems blinked. "What is this?" cried one alien officer. "Our shields are failing." How? The humans had used their strangest weapon, the power of memory. Inside the alien minds, visions appeared. Memories of past wars. Memories of lost friends. Memories of planets burned to ash. Alien soldiers screamed as images flashed before them. They had never felt anything like this. Pain, fear, regret. The Varkans tried to attack, but their weapons misfired. Their ships moved like drunk sailors in space. They could not focus. They could not fight. Something was attacking their minds, not their bodies. On Earth, Dr. Roberts watched calmly. "It is working," she said softly. "The weapon is doing exactly what we hoped. Fear is the greatest weapon, and they will feel it now." The Varkans were in chaos. Their mighty empire, feared across the galaxy, was crumbling not by bombs or missiles, but by memories and emotions. Alien soldiers dropped their weapons. Officers screamed orders, but no one listened. In the middle of the chaos, the smallest alien ship approached the human vessel. Its commander, a Varkan named Thrax, tried to communicate. What are you?" he asked. "Why are you doing this?" Dr. Roberts spoke through a translator. Her voice was calm but firm. "We never wanted war. But when you come to destroy us, we have no choice. Our weapon is our history, our pain, our survival. You cannot fight it. You cannot escape it. It is who we are." Thrax trembled. For the first time in his life, he felt fear. He saw the lives humans had lived, the wars they had fought, the losses they had endured, and yet they had survived. And now they were ready. Back on the human ship, engineers monitored the weapon. "The energy is spreading faster than expected," one of them said. "It is hitting every Varkan ship. Their minds are breaking down." The alien fleet began to scatter. Confusion ruled. Ships crashed into each other. Some tried to escape, but the weapon followed them. It reached every corner of the Varkan formation. "This is impossible," shouted a Varkan admiral. "No weapon has ever done this." Meanwhile, on Earth, civilians were unaware of the battle above. Children played in parks. People walked their dogs. Life continued as normal. But above them, the universe had shifted. A turning point had arrived, one that no one had expected. The humans' plan was simple but brilliant. They did not need numbers. They did not need armies. They only needed the strangest weapon, themselves, their history, their stories, their pain. Every memory, every struggle, every victory, turned into a weapon no alien could fight. In the Varkon command center, Thrax fell to his knees. "We underestimated them," he whispered. "They are different, stronger than anything we imagined." Dr. Roberts smiled. "Yes," she said. "Humans are unpredictable. That is our strength. That is why we survive. And now we turn the tide of this war." The unexpected turning point had arrived. No one could have seen it coming. A single human ship, armed with memories and courage, had shaken the mightiest empire in the galaxy. As the stars twinkled quietly, the humans prepared for the next stage. The battle was far from over, but for the first time, they held the advantage. And the Varkans, they would never forget the fear they felt, because humans were not like any other species. And this was only the beginning. The Varkon fleet was in chaos. Ships collided, alarms screamed, and their soldiers panicked. But the humans did not celebrate. They knew this was only the beginning. The strangest weapon, the weapon of memory and emotion, had only just started. Inside the small human ship, Dr. Maya Roberts watched the screens. Each Varkon ship showed signs of mental breakdown. Soldiers were screaming. Systems failed. The weapon spread faster than anyone had predicted. "This is incredible," whispered an engineer. "It's like we're inside their minds." Dr. Roberts nodded. "Exactly. They underestimated us. They think strength is in numbers, in weapons. But we fight differently. We fight with ourselves." Far away, Varkon Commander Thrax struggled to keep control. His mind was filled with visions. The destruction his empire had caused, the countless worlds they had burned, and the pain of millions. He felt guilt, fear, and confusion, emotions he had never known. "Our soldiers, they can't fight," Thrax growled. "Why are they crying? Screaming? How is this possible?" In another part of the galaxy, smaller Varkon patrols reported similar chaos. Entire fleets refused orders. Pilots abandoned controls mid-flight. Generals shouted commands, but their voices fell on deaf ears. The human weapon was everywhere. It was not limited by range. It was not limited by technology. It worked directly on the mind, bypassing shields, armor, and even programming. The Varkans were trapped in a world of memories and emotions they had never experienced. On Earth, scientists monitored the data with a mix of awe and fear. "It's spreading faster than expected," one said. "If it reaches the Varkon homeworld, the Empire could collapse entirely." Dr. Roberts leaned closer to the screen. "We need to focus," she said. "This weapon is powerful, but it is also delicate. If we push too far, it could backfire. If we do it right, it will be unstoppable." Meanwhile, in the heart of the Varkon fleet, Thrax made a desperate decision. He activated a command to isolate all communications and block the human signals. "We will stop this weapon, no matter what," he said, his voice shaking. But it was too late. The human ship had already adapted. The weapon evolved in real time. It could sense every attempt to block it. Every isolation, every countermeasure only made it stronger. Thrax watched helplessly as the soldiers fell to their knees, clutching their heads. Some screamed in terror. Others wept silently. For the first time, the Varkon Empire faced a force it could not conquer with fire or steel. On the human ship, Dr. Roberts smiled faintly. "They are starting to understand," she said. "They are feeling what we felt for thousands of years. The fear, the struggle, the loss. They are learning humility the hard way." The weapon was more than a tool. It was a mirror. Every Varkon who saw it faced themselves. The memories of their empire's cruelty, the pain they caused, the worlds they destroyed, all reflected back. No alien could escape it. Thrax's mind was breaking. He tried to think of strategies, but every plan was drowned by waves of emotion. He saw the faces of humans he would never meet, their suffering, their courage. For the first time, he questioned everything. Why are they so strong? He whispered. They are only humans. Weak, fragile humans. Yet they terrify me. The human ship moved silently among the Varkon fleet. It was not fast, but it did not need speed. Its weapon reached every corner, every mind, and every ship. Alien engineers tried to scramble signals, but nothing worked. The weapon was intelligent. It knew. It adapted. The Varkans' communication channels filled with chaos. Some reported strange images, flashes of planets being destroyed, civilizations falling, and the screams of millions. Others experienced personal memories, lost siblings, dead parents, moments of regret they had buried deep. "No!" screamed a Varkon officer. "We cannot fight this. Our minds, they are betraying us." Back on Earth, Dr. Robert explained to her team, "This is why humans survive. Not because of weapons, not because of armies, but because of history, memory, and pain. These things cannot be copied. They cannot be predicted. They are uniquely human." Meanwhile, Thrax made a final desperate attempt. He activated the Varkon fleet's secret weapon, an enormous cannon capable of destroying planets. "If we cannot win this, we will destroy them all," he roared. But the humans were ready. The small ship unleashed a concentrated pulse, targeting not the cannon, but the minds of those operating it. The operators froze, their hands unable to move, their memories flooded with fear. The cannon fired itself into empty space. Thrax watched in horror. "Impossible," he shouted. "Our greatest weapon, rendered useless." The humans had done the impossible. They fought without violence, without explosions, without destruction. The Varkans' own minds became their prison. Every soldier, every commander, every ship was trapped in visions they could not escape. In the human command center, Dr. Roberts whispered, "This is only part one. The Empire is strong, but their minds are weak. And that is enough." The Varkon fleet began to scatter, fleeing in panic. Ships collided. Some plunged into stars. Others were abandoned. Chaos reigned. But even in chaos, one thing became clear. The human stranger's weapon was more than a weapon. It was a revolution. It proved that intelligence, creativity, and history could overcome brute force. Thrax, humiliated and terrified, retreated to a distant system. He tried to regroup, but the fear lingered. Memories haunted him. He saw every human struggle and knew that he had underestimated them terribly. On Earth, the scientists celebrated silently. No one cheered. No one laughed. They knew the Varkans were not gone. But for the first time in history, humans had something no alien could take away, an advantage that no one could understand or predict. The unexpected turning point had become a reality. A single human ship, carrying only history, memory, and courage, had shaken a mighty empire. And as the stars shone above Earth, one truth became clear. The galaxy would never see humans the same way again. But the battle was far from over. Thrax would return. The Varkans would learn, adapt, and strike back. The humans knew this. That was why they prepared. That was why their weapon evolved with them. Because this was not just a fight for survival. This was a fight for the soul of humanity. And in this fight, no one, not even the most powerful empire in the galaxy, could predict what humans would do next. The galaxy was silent, yet heavy with tension. The Varkon Empire, once feared and untouchable, now trembled. Their fleet, scattered and broken by a human ship, was in chaos. Commanders argued, soldiers panicked, and systems that had run perfectly for centuries now faltered under the strange human attack. Thrax, the Varkon commander who had narrowly escaped the human weapon, was furious. He paced across the bridge of his flagship. "This cannot be real," he growled. "They are only humans. Fragile, weak, insignificant humans. And yet they have shattered my fleet without firing a single shot." His officers whispered nervously, afraid to speak too loudly. "Commander," one said, "our weapons, our shields, they are useless. The humans are attacking our minds, not our ships. Entire squadrons are surrendering without resistance." Thrax slammed his clawed hand onto the console. "We underestimated them. Every calculation, every strategy useless." Meanwhile, In the distant corners of the galaxy, Varkon systems experienced a strange phenomenon. Soldiers reported visions of human history, the rise and fall of empires, the stories of pain, struggle, and survival that humans carried like fire inside them. Each vision brought fear, confusion, and sometimes even hope for humans, not aliens. "This is madness," shouted an admiral on a Varkon warship. "How can memories be weapons? How can feelings destroy our fleets?" Back on Earth, Dr. Maya Roberts observed the chaos unfolding. Her team monitored every Varkon response. "They're starting to understand," she said softly. "Fear alone cannot stop them. They need to feel what we feel. They need to know that survival is more than strength. It is history, it is story, it is spirit." The small human ship moved silently through the scattered Varkon fleet. Its presence was almost invisible, but its effect was undeniable. The weapon did not destroy with fire or steel. It destroyed with truth. Each human memory was a hammer striking the foundations of alien arrogance. Inside the Varkon flagship, Thrax tried to rally his forces. "Focus. Concentrate. Fight the divisions," he yelled. But it was useless. His soldiers could not distinguish reality from memory. They screamed, wept, and froze in place. Their minds were trapped in a labyrinth of human emotion. One soldier fell to the deck, clutching his head. I see them, the humans, all their struggles, their pain, their losses." Thrax clenched his jaw. He realized something terrifying. This is no ordinary weapon. This is the essence of humanity itself. They have turned their history into a weapon, and we are defenseless. Back on Earth, engineers adjusted the frequency of the weapon. "If we push further," one said, "we could reach the Varkon homeworld. We could make them feel the fear of entire planets." Dr. Roberts paused. "Careful," she said. "We do not want genocide. This is not about destruction. This is about survival and respect. But we can show them the consequences of their empire. Let them feel the weight of every action they've taken across the stars." In the Varkon Empire, the news reached the homeworld. Leaders were in panic. Councils that had ruled for millennia could not comprehend what was happening. Ships were scattered, systems failing, soldiers unable to obey commands. And at the center of it all, one small human vessel, calm and silent, guided by the courage of a single species no one had taken seriously. Thrax made a bold decision. He called the council to convene in the war chamber. "We need a new strategy," he said. "We cannot fight them with weapons. We cannot fight them with armies. Their minds, their stories, are stronger than anything we possess." The council was divided. Some argued for immediate retaliation, to crush the human threat with overwhelming force. Others feared that conventional weapons would only fail again. Thrax stood and said, "We have one choice. We must understand them. We must know their weapon, their method, or we will lose everything." Meanwhile, the human ship continued its silent march through the fleet. It sent signals, not of destruction, but of clarity. Memories of survival, courage, and sacrifice flowed into the minds of every alien it touched. It was not hatred that the humans sent. It was understanding, pain, and warning. Some Varkans began to change. Confused and fearful, they looked at their empire differently. They saw the suffering they had caused, the planets they had burned, the lives they had destroyed. Doubt crept into their minds for the first time. Thrax realized this too late. His empire was fracturing, not because humans destroyed their ships, but because humans destroyed their certainty. Alien minds were crumbling under the weight of truth. On Earth, Dr. Roberts turned to her team. "We need to push them further," she said. "Let them feel what it means to threaten a species that cannot be destroyed by force alone. We must show them the human spirit." The weapon expanded. Human history, its victories, losses, sacrifices, reached every corner of the Varkon fleet. Commanders who had once been ruthless began to hesitate. Soldiers who had never questioned orders now refused them outright. Entire squadrons simply drifted into space, paralyzed by the weight of what they had done and what they were facing. Thrax watched, powerless, as his empire unraveled. He realized that survival meant more than firepower. It meant understanding, empathy, and courage, things the Varkans had never valued. The galaxy seemed to pause, holding its breath, Humans, small and seemingly insignificant, had turned the tide of an interstellar empire without firing a single shot. Their weapon was not metal, not lasers, not destruction. It was truth, emotion, and memory. Dr. Roberts looked at the stars. This is the future, she said. Not destruction, not conquest, but survival and respect. They will learn it one mind at a time. As the Varkon fleet scattered, Thrax vowed silently. He would return. He would adapt. But he knew something he had never known before. Humans were unpredictable. They were strong in ways no alien could calculate. And the galaxy would never see them the same way again. The unexpected turning point was complete. The small human ship, carrying the strangest weapon ever seen, had not only survived, it had reshaped the balance of power in the galaxy. And yet, Dr. Roberts knew this was only the beginning. The Varkans would come back. They would study, plan, and strike again. But humanity had already changed the rules of war. And when the next battle came, it would not be fought with weapons alone. It would be fought with the human spirit, the human mind, and the truths that no empire could destroy. The galaxy trembled with anticipation. After the initial chaos caused by the human weapon, the Varkon Empire was regrouping. Scattered fleets reassembled in distant star systems. Commanders convened urgently, their faces etched with fear and fury. Thrax, the commander who had survived the human assault, stood at the head of the council. "Our minds have been broken," Thrax said, voice echoing in the chamber. "Our fleets are scattered. Our soldiers refuse to obey. And this human, this singular species, has shattered our empire without firing a single shot." The council members murmured among themselves. Some argued for retreat, others for a total strike. But Thrax raised a clawed hand. "No, we must act. We cannot lose to humans. They are cunning, unpredictable, dangerous." He outlined a new strategy. The Varkans would combine their most advanced weapons with psychological warfare. This time, they would target not just a human ship, but Earth itself. Planets under human control would be threatened, communications disrupted, and spies infiltrated. The Varkans hoped that fear, this time, would work in their favor. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Maya Roberts and her team monitored the signals. "They're moving fast," one engineer said. "They are planning something. A counterattack. But it's different from before. Their fear is gone. They are desperate." Dr. Roberts nodded. "Good. Let them come. Let them try. Every plan they make, we can anticipate. Every weapon they use, we can turn against them, but we must stay focused. The human weapon is powerful, but it has limits. We must adapt faster than they can." The small human ship, now called Aegis, moved silently toward the outer reaches of the galaxy. Its sensors detected multiple Varkon fleets converging. The humans had no intention of attacking. Yet, they were preparing something far more dangerous, a demonstration of the weapon's full potential. In the Varkon Empire, Thrax's desperation grew. He ordered fleets to strike simultaneously, hoping that sheer numbers could overwhelm the human ship. "Attack them from all sides," he commanded. "Leave nothing alive." The fleets moved in perfect formation, their weapons glowing with lethal energy. But as they approached, the human ship systems activated in a new way. The weapon, now upgraded and refined, began to spread a broader wave, not just to individual minds, but to entire networks of thought across the Varkon Empire. For the first time, the humans' weapon reached Varkon leadership, their officers, and even their scientists. Memories of worlds destroyed, families lost, and countless wars they had waged came flooding back. Entire fleets slowed as soldiers relived centuries of conquest and destruction. Their arrogance shattered. Their orders became meaningless. On the Aegis, Dr. Roberts observed calmly. "It's working. They are beginning to understand the cost of their empire. But we must push further." The human ship released a series of focused pulses toward the Varkon capital system. These pulses were not destructive in the traditional sense. They did not target ships or cities. Instead, they penetrated deep into the minds of every Varkon. The pulses carried human experiences, survival against impossible odds, courage in the face of death, and the unwavering spirit of a species that refused to be conquered. Soldiers on the front lines collapsed in shock. Commanders screamed in confusion. Entire fleets stopped moving as their minds became trapped in visions of humanity's history. The weapon forced them to confront the consequences of their actions. Countless planets destroyed, civilizations obliterated, lives erased. Thrax watched helplessly from his command center. "Impossible," he shouted. "They are stronger than we imagined. They are not just defending themselves. They are attacking our very souls." Back on Earth, Dr. Roberts instructed her team to maintain focus. "Do not underestimate them," she said. "They will try new tactics, new weapons, new strategies. But the strength of this weapon is not technology. It is the human spirit. That is something they can never destroy." The Varkans' desperate counterattack escalated. Fleets fired the human ship, attempting to overwhelm its defenses with sheer force. Lasers, plasma, and particle beams rained down. But Aegis did not move. Its shields absorbed the attacks. But more importantly, the weapon continued its assault on the alien minds. Every shot fired by the Varkans reflected back into their own fears and memories. On the battlefield, chaos reigned. Alien soldiers turned on each other, unable to distinguish friend from foe. Commanders lost all control. Ships collided, exploded, and drifted into the void. The Varkan Empire, once an unyielding force, was now paralyzed by a weapon it could not see, touch, or predict. Thrax made a final desperate move. He activated a device capable of generating a massive energy storm across multiple systems. "If we cannot win, we will destroy everything," he roared. But the humans were ready. The Aegis unleashed a focused mental pulse directly at the device. Operators of Storm froze, their minds overwhelmed by visions of human resilience, sacrifice, and defiance. The energy storm misfired, destroying itself without harming the humans. The Varkans realized too late that they were facing an enemy unlike any they had known. This was not a fight of ships, lasers, or bombs. This was a fight of mind, spirit, and memory. Humanity had weaponized their very essence, and no alien technology could counter it. In the heart of the Varkan Empire, Thrax fell to his knees. "We underestimated them," he whispered. "We never understood them." The humans had achieved something unprecedented. A single ship, carrying the strangest weapon ever created, had not only survived a full-scale attack by the mightiest empire in the galaxy, it had broken the will of its soldiers, shattered its fleets, and left its leaders powerless. On Earth, Dr. Roberts addressed her team. "We have shown them the consequences of arrogance, violence, and ignorance. But the war is not over. They will adapt. They will strike again. And when they do, we must be ready." The galaxy was watching silently. The Varkans' desperate counterattack had failed. Their empire, once feared and unstoppable, had been humbled by a single human vessel. And yet, even in victory, humanity knew that the next challenge would be even greater. Because this was no ordinary war. This was a war of spirit, a war of mind. And the human's strangest weapon, memory, history, and resilience, was only beginning to reveal its true power. The galaxy held its breath. After the chaos of the Varkans' desperate counterattack, silence spread across the stars. Entire fleets were immobilized. Commanders were broken. Soldiers trembled, unable to obey orders. The Varkan Empire, once proud and unstoppable, now faced a force it could not fight or understand. On Earth, Dr. Maya Roberts watched the data flowing across the screens. "This is it," she said softly. "The moment we show them who we are." Her team nodded. Every human on the ship knew that what they were about to do could change the galaxy forever. This was not about destruction. This was about proving a truth. Humans survive, endure, and adapt in ways no alien could ever predict. The Aegis, the small yet extraordinary human ship, began its final move. It did not fire weapons. It did not launch missiles. Instead, it projected an immense wave of the human essence across the galaxy. Memories, stories, struggles, courage, and pain. Every moment of humanity's history. Spread like a light that could not be blocked. Across the Varkan Empire, every mind felt it. Soldiers froze. Commanders dropped their weapons. Scientists stared in disbelief. Even Thrax, the hardened commander, felt his consciousness shake as centuries of human survival and perseverance washed over him. What is this?" he whispered, his voice trembling. "They are not just fighting. They are showing us everything. The human's weapon, now at its peak, was no longer confined to battles. It became a mirror reflecting the cost of war, the value of life, and the strength of survival. Varkans experienced visions of every world they had destroyed, every civilization they had erased, and the countless lives they had ended. But alongside the devastation, they saw human courage. How a weak species had survived against impossible odds, how they had rebuilt, adapted, and grown stronger every time. Soldiers wept. Commanders dropped to their knees. Systems that had once been flawless faltered under the weight of memory and truth. The Empire itself seemed to shiver. Thrax, for the first time, truly understood humans. They are not like anything we imagined, he muttered. Our weapons, our fleets, they cannot touch this. We are powerless before their spirit. The Aegis then sent a direct message to every Varkan ship. We never wanted war. But when faced with destruction, we fight not with hatred, but with who we are. Respect life. Respect survival. Respect the story each species carries. Humanity does not conquer by fear. Humanity survives by courage. Across the galaxy, alien soldiers stopped fighting. Some dropped their weapons entirely. Some turned away from battle, unable to continue under the weight of understanding. The Varkans had learned something they had never considered. War was not just about strength. It was about consequences, morality, and the power of spirit. Back on Earth, Dr. Roberts turned to her team. They are learning, she said. The Empire will never be the same. They will fear us, but more importantly, they will respect us. That is the difference. Thrax called his commanders. Cease all operations, he commanded. The humans, their weapon, it is more than technology. We cannot fight it. We must retreat and rethink everything. The Varkans' fleets retreated across the galaxy, humiliated, confused, and forever changed. But they did not strike again. They could not. The humans had reshaped the balance of power, not with armies, not with weapons, but with the strangest force imaginable, themselves. The Aegis returned to Earth, silent and calm. Citizens watched the skies, unaware of the battle that had taken place above them. The humans had won, without destruction, without annihilation, without bloodshed. Dr. Roberts addressed her team one last time. Today, we proved something extraordinary. We showed that intelligence, courage, and history are the strongest weapons of all. Technology can destroy cities, but it cannot destroy spirit. We have survived, and we have shown the galaxy what that means. In the Varkan Empire, Thrax wrote a report that would change everything. The humans are unpredictable, he wrote. They are fragile yet unbreakable. They fight not with weapons, but with who they are. We cannot conquer them. We can only hope to understand them, and perhaps learn from them. Across the stars, other species observed silently. The tale of humanity's weapon spread. It was no longer just a story of war. It was a lesson. Intelligence without spirit is empty. Power without morality is fragile. And survival is the greatest weapon of all. The galaxy will remember this day. The humans, once underestimated, had become legendary. A species that survived against impossible odds, not through destruction, but through courage, wisdom, and the strength of their history. Dr. Roberts looked out at the stars one final time. This is only the beginning, she whispered. We have shown the galaxy our power. But more than power, we have shown them our essence, and that is eternal. As the Aegis docked silently on Earth, the galaxy seemed to breathe. The Varkans, humbled and forever changed, retreated to reflect. Humans had not destroyed an empire. They had transformed it. They had not conquered with fire. They had conquered with truth. And in every mind that felt the weapon, one lesson was clear. Humanity is not to be underestimated. Its weapon is not just its technology. Its weapon is memory, history, courage, and spirit. As long as humans endure, nothing, no empire, no fleet, no force in the galaxy can ever truly destroy them. The stars twinkled above Earth, quietly witnessing the triumph of the human spirit. The strangest weapon had worked. The galaxy had been reminded that survival, courage, and truth are forces stronger than any fleet. And humanity had emerged victorious. Not by annihilation, but by showing what it truly means to be human. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and support us. It really helps us grow and bring more videos like this. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.